A dozen officers bought these so-called college degrees on the web from a university in the Caribbean. And by having one, they get an extra $1,000 to $3,000 in extra pay a year. It's become a hot-button issue that some city officials want to keep quiet. To become an officer with the Fraser Police Department, you must first have an associate's degree. But if an officer gets an additional college degree, they get paid more money. That's why some officers shelled out about $400, possibly more, for a degree like this one online, without having to take a single class or do any work at all. The degree says they have a Bachelor of Science with a major in criminal justice. It comes from Alameda University, an online operation on the Caribbean island of Nevis. The U.S. Department of Education says the university is not accredited, and degrees like this one are illegal to use for public jobs in at least 8 states. Michigan has a similar law, but more on that later.
I can't speak to the specifics.
Fraser City Manager Richard Haberman's nervous laughter followed my question about officers using these degrees to get a pay hike in his city. He says it's one of the major issues in current contract negotiations with the police union.
I met with the council in closed session, discussed what my take on some of the issues were, and we're dealing it through collective bargaining with the unions. There's clearly a dispute, and we're trying to work through and reconcile it.
Police Union President James Tiganelli says the city didn't have a problem with Fraser officers getting degrees online until 2009. That's when it amended the union contract, which he reads,
"Online study is not eligible for benefit unless it is from an accredited college or university." That was all added July 1 of 2009.
Tiganelli also points out a clause in the current union contract which expires this year. It says that officers who already get additional pay with their Alameda University degrees are allowed to keep getting that pay.
But the first sentence said, this doesn't affect anybody who's currently receiving the benefit.
But the union contract seems to be in violation of a state law that was passed in 2005, 4 years before the last union contract was signed. It's called the Authentic Credentials in Education Act. It says in part that an individual shall not knowingly use a false academic credential to obtain employment, to obtain a promotion, or higher compensation in employment. Fraser's Director of Public Safety, George Roheeb, has a bachelor's and a master's degree from universities in Michigan. He tells 7 Action News he brought the online degree issue to the city's attention in 2007, but was told then there was nothing the city could do. Fraser leaders just might want to consider what happened in Fruitland Park, Florida. Our sister ABC station there exposed how the police chief had bogus degrees. He lost his job and paid the city back several $100s to avoid prosecution in a very similar case. That's one reason why Fraser's mayor says an outsider should investigate.
I've always been in favor of an independent third party coming in and doing a complete review and investigation of the situation. And I believe that that would be in the best interest of the employees, of the department, and of the city.
The 2009 union contract that allows officers to use the purchased degrees to get a pay raise happened under a previous city manager who refused to talk about it. City council members are so far not talking about it publicly, but we will continue to follow the story. In the newsroom, Bill Proctor, 7 Action News.